Hello, Jim Howard here in Fort Worth, Texas. Today's date, it is October 6th of 2020, and it is a Tuesday, and received two orders today, separate orders. I got this, some of these light bulbs. Whoops, I should, yeah, where did I put them? I don't even know where I put them now. Anyway, and I put one of these in my lamp right over there. I do like the lamp or the uh, color better. Of course, I have a shade on that lamp. I thought I would use this type of bulb without the shade, but it was too glary, which makes me think I've got a couple of lamps coming, and my intention is one in each corner because I got rid of the speakers. Uh, but I've got a feeling maybe that's going to be, we'll see. But that order is, I think it went from Mississippi to Texas, where I am, to California, and now it's left California, I think, and I guess it's heading back here. I do not know what's going to happen with that order. Um, but anyway, I purchased, I think, six of these bulbs because those two lamps uh, don't come with bulbs. Um, so I also got this, and I happen to have this over here. Every socket, I think, in this room, electrical wall socket, has uh, something, you know, like this that I can plug multiple uh, plug-ins into it, and like the one over there, I don't know how many I can't, because everything's plugged in over there. But so this is a new one that I don't happen to have. Some of the others are duplicates of each other, and some are different. So this has three USB plug-ins at the top, and you can plug into six, up to six items. Of course, a lot of times if they're blocks, they block another one or something. But haven't installed this yet, and of course they're easy to install and they're inexpensive. I paid a little bit more for this. I could have got the Amazon brand, but I was a little bit afraid to get it because I've seen some stories of different Amazon products, where they've copied some other product and then they're selling it. And they had a story where the things were catching on fire, doing all types of things. So this is Huntke household wall tap, 6 outlets, 3 USB ports, surge protector, smart USB, 6 outlets, and let's see on the back, surge protector light, power light. So I guess if they surge protector light, I guess it's probably green. Yes, I imagine if that goes red, that means there's been a fault with the surge. Something's happened, I guess. So 125 volt, 15 amp, 60 cycles, up to, I guess, up to 1,875 watts. USB output is 5 volts at 3.4 amps. So the other item that I have is this speaker. And you remember I ordered this. This is another product that never got here, and it would just started out in, I think it started out from Louisiana, I believe. I think it even said, Amazon facility at Louisiana or something, and it just never got here. And I forget how many days went by, and finally they said that I could, click and get a refund for it. And that's when I came over, and for the first time I actually clicked on this. I thought, well, that's, $40 instead of $90, and I really don't need a subwoofer. Just need the sound. So anyway, I clicked on the thing that to get a refund for this, and they said that refund would be coming, and that was it was a day. I was on the 4th. Okay, 2 days ago, and it said right away your refund will be coming. Blah blah blah. And today I got an email saying that the money went into. Okay, I didn't use my bank for that. I used a credit card, and I see that they credited. I went to the credit card, and that's been credited. That and sales tax, And then I had ordered this the day before. I ordered that on the 3rd, I think it was, the day before I think it was. And I already received, it's like Amazon working the way they should work. The speaker, I've got it right here. I'm not going to unplug it. Knowing my luck with audio, I mean, all there is, it's into a 3.5 audio jack. I come out of my speaker and I go into the jack on the back. On the back is also a USB plug-in, so I can power it by USB, and not USB. 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 My mind is going. So I got it plugged into I have a little thing on the desk to power different USB products. And so I'm running it that way. There's also a thing on the back where you could plug in a card or whatever with music on it, or it could be whatever you want, audio, and it could do that. And you press the button it's like a Bluetooth. This does Bluetooth. It'll do 3.5 jack, and then it also will do if you plug in a chip that you have with data on it, and you can do that. So you could take this, to another room, because it has a battery in it that'll last, I think, 4 hours. No, or they said 6 hours, I think it was. And it weighs 2.4 pounds. So you could take it outside, or you could, take it in the other room or something. And I've played a few YouTube videos. I went to a YouTube site that does sound, testing or whatever. And I watched on YouTube, I watched emergency vehicles, going someplace. And then a couple episodes of comedians in cars drinking coffee or whatever. So, and the sound sounds okay to me, but, keep in mind I have really bad hearing. but it looks to me like a good deal for $40. And so, Eskimo pie is getting rid of its derogatory name. You know, I don't know. I'm an old man. I don't see why. I know there's Eskimos. Is that not the proper name? Well, let's see. I think some of this is, and even Aunt Jemima. I mean, I think everybody's going to. Well, okay, wait. I think probably the problem is uh, buckwheat, maybe.
It's about time. I don't know, it's 131 years late, but I'm actually glad that people are cognizant of what's going on around them.
I don't see why Aunt Jemima. I guess that just shows that I'm not in. That I'm not in touch. Now maybe on the box or the packaging or whatever in the past, maybe it was. I don't think they showed Aunt Jemima with chains on or anything. But I mean, Aunt Jemima. I mean, Aunt Jemima. What's wrong? If I don't see, but I'm sure that I'm wrong. I mean, and I do not see. Let's see, maybe they say down here. Eskimo Pie has decided on a new name 3 months after it acknowledged its original name was offensive towards native Arctic communities. Beginning early 2021, the chocolate-covered vanilla ice cream bar will be called Edie's Pie, a nod to one of the company's founders, Joseph Edie. It's also a familiar name to many because its maker, Darrell Grand Ice Cream, markets food under the Edie's name on the U.S. East Coast. The name Eskimo has long been used by non-native groups to refer collectively to Inuit and Yepidi people. According to the Alaskan Native Language Center at the University of Alaska, this name is considered derogatory in many other places because it was given by non-Inuit people and was said to mean eater of raw meat. God, I don't know. Eskimo. Okay, does that word in their language or something, does that mean, I don't know. Yeah, I would say eaters of raw meat. It would be, so I don't know. Linguists also say the word has another origin based on the word meaning to net snowshoes. The Language Center says on website. Okay, I don't. Well, they're talking. Wait a minute. They talking about Eskimo pie. Or are they talking about? Yeah. Okay. The Nestle-owned company. Now we're talking about Aunt Jemima. The Nestle company joined other brands in overhauling brands and logos with racist roots, including Aunt Jemima, Aunt Jemima, Cream of Wheat, and Uncle Ben's. I don't see why any of those would be derogatory. Unless, like I said, a picture on the box or something. But, like, hey, this is rice made by, this is rice and Aunt Jemima. Hey, what would be wrong with that? And what's wrong with cream of wheat? And what's wrong with Uncle Ben's? I don't know. There again, unless there's an image or something. Uncle Ben's has changed his name to Ben's Original. Okay, so they didn't object to Ben's. They objected to Uncle Ben's because they're changing it to Ben's Original. I don't know. It doesn't. It doesn't really matter, except maybe it does matter. It might be that in the southern part of the United States, maybe back in history, maybe the white people who had slaves, maybe they referred to like their house slaves or something. Maybe if a man was a trusted slave, maybe it was common to call him uncle, have Uncle Bill bring me my shoes or something. I don't know. That could be something like that. I don't know. But then, look at me. I'm a fat, old, bald man. White man. So I don't know. Now, I don't have any problem with taking down Confederate statues, except, and nobody is advocating taking that, like at a Confederate cemetery, and I spent a summer, by the way, in Georgia and South Carolina when I was in the 5th grade, I think, during the summer. My father was working on an H-bomb plant. Definitely. We went to some parks, and we went to some Confederate cemeteries and everything. I have absolutely no problem with. Confederate cemeteries should not be touched. Gravestones shouldn't be messed with. And if there is a statue in the Confederate cemetery, honoring Confederate soldiers or generals or whatever, have no problem with that. Leave them alone. But statues and things that are put up, on the lawn of the courthouse or at City Hall, or if, streets are named for Confederate generals and things who fought against the United States, of America. That they shouldn't be. I'm not sure they should be smashed to pieces. I would say take them down and, you know, take them to the Confederate cemetery, or take them to, to a museum or maybe an art gallery. I doubt they're art, but, take them to a museum. And there might be too many to displays, so you could put some in the basement and cover them up until that some other, like if something comes up, then you could bring them up for, something. But as we know, after the Civil War, there were Confederate cemeteries, and then, there's a whole bunch of years that go by, and then when a movement towards civil rights and everything come about, then, so what would that be? 1864, 65. Okay, yeah, like 100 years later, all of a sudden, when colored people, you know, black people, when they start pushing for civil rights and some changes, desperately needed changes, long needed changes, all of a sudden streets are named, you know, for Confederate, you know, generals, and monuments are put up. You know, 100 years later, all of a sudden you can. I guess I've seen things on TV, you know, or YouTube probably where, you know, the monuments and the U.S. military bases and everything, you know, after the Civil War, you know, and then 100 years later, you know, the 1960s, boom. All of a sudden, everybody wants to, not everybody, but all of a sudden you get all these statues built and all the street names changed and military, U.S. military forts named after Confederate people who fought against the United States, you know, and so obviously that, you know, that needs to be taken care of and corrected, and was, I think I was an excellent reader. I read, you know, Grant's book, U.S. Grant. I read his book, and maybe I was in high school. I don't think so. I think I read it when I was in, you know, grade school, but which was kind of dull reading. Except I was really moved by, you know, the surrender at Appomattox, and, you know, Grant showing up, you know, in a privates, you know, showing up with dirt on him and whatever, and, you know, Lee, the country gentleman or whatever, in a, you know, great looking uniform and all that type of stuff, and, you know, that Grant said, you know, the officers can keep their, you know, the Southern officers can keep their sidearms, and I forget what he's, you know, the horses could be, you know, horses could be taken back because they would need them, you know, in the South for whatever, and no one was to be, you know, arrested or imprisoned and that type, you know, and I thought, man, that's really, you know, and then supposedly, and I think that is true, that, you know, then as, you know, after Lee signs the surrender, and General Lee is leaving, you know, some of the Union soldiers, you know, start cheering or something like that, and Grant, no, stop that, you know, stop that, no, you know, those are fellow Americans, you know, and no signs of, you know, celebration and stuff. So, but you know, I think that actually now, at this point in my life, I think that was a mistake, because of, look, you know, look where we are now. I think maybe it might have been better to hang a bunch of, you know, certainly not put up, you know, statues to them. Maybe we should have hung a bunch of those generals. And, of course, be kind of, people now would say, you know, after seeing, you know, the movies, you know, Gettysburg and that type of stuff, we've, you know, we created a false narrative, which would have been maybe okay if the people in the South hadn't put in Jim Crow laws, if they hadn't, you know, gone where they went, if they had just accepted it. And I'm sure it was really tough in the beginning, and I'm sure it was probably overdone, you know, carpetbaggers coming in, and Union troops maybe, you know, but that's the way history is, not just here, but, you know, everywhere. But now I'm thinking maybe, you know, maybe we made a mistake, you know, because we're look at the situation we're in now, you know. So I don't know. Anyway, so far this speaker, the Stage Air Creative Labs, of course. I guess they don't call themselves labs, do they? Anyway, the creative people. Stage Air Compact Multimedia Soundbar. I watched a bunch of YouTube videos about this, and everybody's giving it good. The price is great, you know. Even the $80 one, you know, is great. This is the $40 one. 20 watts peak. If the battery in the thing is charged up and you take it outside, it says 6 hours. I saw a few reviews where they said they all agreed underneath your monitor, fantastic, you know, for the price and everything, fantastic. But if you have a big screen TV or something way across the room or something like that, maybe this is not, you know, maybe you need to spend a little bit more money. But this is what I wanted, just something on the desk underneath the monitor, and now I have, remember I've got a small desk here. Now I've opened up room over here on both the corners, where before I had speakers, you know. And now that space is free. So anyway, thank you very much for watching.